Hello and welcome. Welcome to another edition of CPR's Clubhouse Live. This one for me is the one that I've been waiting for. I've been teasing it online, but I would like to welcome George Lamond, and I would
Hi.
also like to welcome the actress, the producer, the director, Maria Soccor. Thank you for joining us here on CPR's Clubhouse Live.
Hi.
It's
So
amazing.
is she on the side of me or to the or to top of me or what?
She is on your right hand side.
But
This side?
But yes, on your right hand side, yes.
So Maria, let's turn to each other like in the Brady Bunch and say hello. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You got to turn to your left.
hey.
That's the other way.
Oh, me?
Me?
One, two, no, you were right, George, but she was wrong. So
One.
1, 2, 3.
Hey,
Hi.
George. Hi.
That was pretty corny, but I had to
That
do
worked.
it.
That worked out well for the cameras. That was good.
So yeah,
Listen, it's truly an exciting time. I've been researching Maria. I know that she was on Fox's Kville, and I see all her information on IMDb, of course. But I was interested in the Lords of BSV. I was trying to find it so I can watch it. I could only find a 6-minute clip, and it was so intriguing in regards to that form of dance. But as I was told, it's no longer available at the moment because you're working through some licensing situations.
Yes, it was actually licensed on Red Bull Television for about 5 years. Our trailer is still out, and we're looking for another platform right now. But it was actually my first film that consisted of an ensemble role of all of those dancers. There were about 14 of them. So it was, now we're doing this freestyle documentary, freestyle music, The Legacy, which is really exciting because it's also an ensemble role with freestyle being a character. So, but thank you for looking, and thank you for looking at the trailer. We also have a website too.
And that was my segue. The fact that you take these things that are underground or that is a good part of our culture and communities, and then you want to bring them to the forefront by directing these documentaries and the Lords of BSV, and now this freestyle documentary. It's just bringing what I've always wanted to see to the screen, and hopefully, I know that you're still working on it. It'll be something that we can get physically, because I'm a big collector of movies, and I would love to see it on Blu-ray or just stream it, or just see it in all the different platforms so everyone can enjoy it. I know that you're working really hard on it.
It's very cool. Thank you so much. I believe, Jose, that everything comes from the streets. I mean, everything, fashion, film, ideas, everything is formed in the streets. No matter how big you bring it to a Broadway stage or to the Met, on any level, everything comes from the streets. So, I am very much interested in culture, in dance culture, music culture, film. And I think it's a great time to really do this documentary because we all have to remember that freestyle in its origins was actually Latin hip hop.
Right.
Latin hip hop. Latin hip hop. Let me say it again, Latin hip hop. And
Latin hip hop. That's
eventually,
right.
it turned into freestyle music, and I'm still trying to discover if that title is something that really did evolve, or did we just kind of, did it just change? So that's something that I'm still discovering. But in so many films, and I really appreciate, and I really revere so many other filmmakers that have done a lot of films on pop culture, on music and dance, and
Right.
so on and so forth. But where was Latin hip hop throughout all of this? Where was it, in all of the endless documentaries that were out there on hip hop? Where do we hear Latin hip hop? Where do we hear the inventor of the scratch, who was Puerto Rican? Where do we hear all of that?
Right.
We go back to Africa Bombata, Zulu Nation, and that's great. I think that it's been really overlooked, and in a time when we really need to acknowledge and be proud of our culture and really preserve it now that we're in this new century, I think it's essential that we really make a mark and put it in its history form. Let me say that again. I say that we document it properly and that we give it its proper place in history and music history, in American music history. I mean, these artists are incredible. I mean, look at George. These are all trailblazing artists. So many artists started in freestyle and have done so many other things in their careers. Why isn't this documented, why aren't we looking at this as a form of music? Look at what you're doing. I mean, you're keeping the culture and the music moving. We have to be able to do this now. And I believe the film will really document it historically, but also give them a beautiful place in music history, visually, just showing how passionate they are as artists, as producers, as DJs. I mean, even what you're doing, it's important that we document this the right way.
Yeah, I agree. And to add to what Maria said, the fact that Latin hip hop, to a lot of people, it's considered like a blip on the radar. It was way more than that, man. It was a mass blip, that a lot of people really didn't understand. And when I say a lot of people, the non-Latinos, um, because the music that we were brought up on, no matter where you were from, was called something different. So
Right.
when it was created, we called it Latin hip hop because that's what New York residents used to call it. Now,
Right.
if you didn't live in New York, you told me, Jose, that you called it something totally different back then.
Yes, in our area, freestyle is known as clubhouse dance music, based on the title of the show that we host. So,
Absolutely.
um,
And
when
and
people
let
are,
me
I want to hear clubhouse. You know.
exactly. And I remember you telling me that, and to add to what Maria said, the fact that it hasn't been documented in a way that is going to complement the hard work from not just the singers, but I'm talking about the people behind the scenes, the record companies, the writers, the producers, the interviewers, the directors, the marketing agencies and the booking agencies, just because it was all in a whole, it was a whole community, right? To see it on one of my favorite 808 documentaries. I don't know if you saw the documentary
I did.
808. Yeah, there was a shot in the film. I actually owned a copy. I own a copy of it, and they do a timeline, right? I think, what's the DJ's name? Van something, something Van something. Anyway, he was talking about the creation of Latin hip hop, because he used to play a lot of Latin hip hop. Like, he used to play Battle of the Heart and channel it to music play, and I remember they showed this timeline, like this digital timeline, it looked real like a neon light, and freestyle was right there, real small. If you blink in the shot, you would have missed it because they edited so fast. But I caught it, and I paused it, and it went from to Latin hip hop, then it went into hip hop, and then it went into disco, and then I'm sorry, not disco. Then it went into like Latin trap and all that stuff. But it was just, my point being is just that they bypassed it, and I'm like, nah, man, we should have got a little bit more props. I'm sure it wasn't done on purpose because the show was about the 808 drum machine,
Right.
but I picked up on it right away, and it really, really filled a void in me. I woke up a void in me that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I tried even before Maria. Me and Carlos Perez were gathering footage of interviews and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you need a team, you need a director, people that has done this before, like Maria. And I know Maria from way past. We're all friends, and so yeah. And the fact that when she came to me and she says, "I have an idea," I was like, "Yeah, let me hear it."
I'm a big historian myself. I'm like right now I'm working on the top 25 freestyle remakes of all time,
Nice.
and I put that on a podcast. And I'm a big historian. That's why I always log in the top 40 songs of the year. That's why I do George Lamond countdowns, because it is important for the community to know factual and actual information. And we're in 2021 and people are recreating the narrative for freestyle every year. And the older it gets, the more that the information gets twisted, and then people get the wrong information. And it's great that Maria and yourself and many others are together to make this documentary for factual information and historic information to be disseminated to the people that it matters to, and that's the audience that still supports this music, because this music has never gone away. We've had new freestyle every year for 30 plus years. So it's important for this to be documented.
Absolutely.
100%.
Now, why did you choose freestyle, Maria? Even though you could have done something else. I mean, your IMDb page is really nice. So why
Thank you.
correct the lords of BSV and now be like, okay, let me find freestyle. Let me do one on freestyle. Why freestyle itself?
Well, it's again because I'm just so interested in culture. And I grew up in New Jersey, I lived in New York, but I just think it was really important to document this. So before the pandemic, I actually got together with George's former manager, Gary Sipich, and I sat down with him and I said, Gary, I really want to do a documentary on freestyle and on house music. He's like, oh, okay. It's a big undertaking. I said, I'm known to do ensemble roles. I also do a lot of branded work. But I said to him, I said, this really interests me because it hasn't been done and it hasn't been out there. And then, he said, well, correction, it has been done before. And Carlos Barrios is working on something. And we should talk to George. And when I talked to George, he did mention Carlos Barrios, who's also very talented. He's also a filmmaker as well, and
Indeed.
he works in music. I mean, very talented man for a long time. And he was partnered with Frank Reyes. And I said to him, I said, I really want to do this documentary. And I sort of like had to kiss the ring and get blessed by the Pope. And he was like, you know what? He was like, you go ahead, girl. He's like, you do that documentary. And I was like, cool.
I
And then
call
I started meeting the artists.
I call Carlos Barrios the principal's office.
Yeah, that's it. That's a perfect title. Yeah.
And you know what? We started working on it, and he gave me the blessing to do it. But that was big because from there, that's when I met Andy Panda, and I started talking to Andy Panda, and I would have to say, one of the most passionate people
Big time.
about freestyle that I have ever met in my life,
Yes.
who is like really trying to preserve as what we call like la lucha, the culture, who's really so who was one of the first who did, we have like Lagosa and Mark Liggett. You have Andy Panda and Tony Moran.
Tony
who
Moran.
Tony Moran
Second
eventually,
generation, that show on Channel 11.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Their show on MTV. I mean, they broke down barriers. They also, and then of course Tony Moran and Albert Cabrera of the Latin Rascals, which were master editors, working at Shakedown Studios, Arthur Baker's studio,
With Little Louis
putting
Vega.
the best of the best. Oh yeah, Little Louis Vega as well. Of course. And well, when I met Andy Panda, he just opened up this world, and he was so passionate. I was talking to actually a producer. He was so passionate about really preserving this culture and this history the correct way. And then at that point, I started meeting the artists. And I have to say something about the freestyle artists. They are the most humble and beautiful people. They love the fans, they love the culture, they love what they did because they were coming from a place, they were just kids
Right.
coming out of the Bronx, coming out of Spanish Harlem, wanting to make music, rehearsing. And I mean, George, I said, George, you had a really great path, but a lot of them had, they were literally rehearsing in their basements. I
Right.
mean, making these hit records and dance records. And when you really look at the history,
Hmm.
the roots of pop in freestyle, I mean, the connection is unbelievable,
Yeah,
so you really have to
just
look at that.
just recently, Anthony Ramos from the Heights, he has a new album, has a song called Love and Lies, and he's got on record on many interviews and said that the song Love and Lies is inspired by TKA's Louder Than Love.
Yep.
And so, it's still within our culture, it's still within, popular music, it's still there. Freestyle has been injected into every type of genre. Years ago, you heard P Diddy come out with his band or his lady group, and they had a song and it was freestyle. And even Wild Orchid back in the day with Fergie, freestyle song. You hear a lot of freestyle song, like, wait a minute, that's freestyle. And
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Jermaine Jackson. Don't
Yeah,
forget, Jermaine Jackson had a
yes,
freestyle song.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. I
Mariah
mean,
Carey.
and this is what we're trying to, this is what we're trying to capture. This is what we're trying to tell the fans. We're trying to tell. I mean, Maria, and she has a vision, and she wants to capture the history and the legacy of the music on so many different levels because freestyle was just Latin hip hop, right? Latin hip hop just started. That was just something that was ours. When I say ours, the Latinos, the brown skinned people, it was our music. We were the ones that were working with our fellow Latino brothers that were writing amazing songs who never wrote a song ever in their life for
Yes.
anybody because nobody would pay attention to them. So let me go to this guy down the block. I hear he's pretty good. He dances with a couple of guys. His name is, I think, Loose Touch or something like that.
Right.
Let's. I think he has a really good voice. All right. Well, who's this guy? Well, he's a writer and she's a writer, and they got some really good. Well, let me hear it. All right. Well, where we're gonna go? We don't have any money. Well, my friend has like a recording studio in his bedroom. You want to record there? How much I have to pay? It's nothing. It's free. Oh, well, let's go record a song. So it all worked together within a network within the community, and we made this magic, right? Not just me, because I never say I had a hit record. My music was a well-produced machine by a team of people. I always say that. I never say that it was all me, because it wasn't. I'm not Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I know where my head is at when it comes to music, and we created this thing, and there were people that saw the popularity of it. Now, when I say people, people who weren't from the community, people who were outside of the state, who decided, hey man, this thing is kind of nice, man, and I like it. I wanna get down. I wanna get on the wagon. I wanna, which all musicians do. We just don't admit it. And I wanna do something. But you're an actress. That's okay. I can sing.
Mhm.
So let's do something that way. Oh, but you do Tejano music, but that's all right. Let's give it a try. Maybe it'll spark something. And it was just an avenue to just take, and you could just get off at any exit. And once you made it, you could become an actress, you become a DJ, you become a politician, you become a teacher, you become whatever. But that was
Yes.
an avenue. Freestyle Latin hip hop. Sorry, Latin hip hop was an avenue for a lot of the arts, and no matter what kind of arts it was, if you got down with Latin hip hop, you made a little spark, a little blip in your career radar, and people noticed. People
Yeah.
noticed.
Mark Anthony, Jennifer Lopez a few years back.
La India.
The Latin hip hop freestyle community, they went crazy when she mentioned the influence on a live award show. So, we have put out freestyle. Latin hip hop has put out some really good quality artists, mainstream artists. And you are our Michael Jackson, Latin hip hop's Michael
Oh, I
Jackson.
wish. I
You
wish.
know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
And just like TKA is our
Temptations.
Temptation or New Edition, you know what
New
I mean? But
edition. Yeah,
we
yeah.
we have we have those. And Judy Torres, the Queen, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the title she has been bestowed and she earned. Um, but
Well, I
but
gotta tell you, can I tell you in the documentary, I'm gonna release a little spoiler here, and she talks about, so many people talk about us being kings and queens. She's like, why can't we all just be queens? She said
Absolutely.
that.
yes,
I
Absolutely.
got, back to what you were saying, Jose, about why I did it. When I was looking, back into the history, um, it's just amazing what every single artist has done. Like if you look at, let's just compare it to hip hop, right?
right,
When you look at the artists and how many other genres they did, like for instance, George had so many careers. He had a freestyle career, a pop career, a Latin like salsa career. When you look at the partnerships, right? Like let's really talk about that because that's so important. Clavillis and Cole, Barbosa and Liggett, the Latin Rascals, part of Andy Panda, Tony Moran, Carlos Berrios, Frank Reyes,
Mickey Garcia,
Mickey
Micmac,
Garcia, and right at Micmac Records, and Mickey Garcia and
and
his
Aldo from
partner
Cutting Two.
and Aldo from Cutting Records, like, all these major producers, look at what they went on to do. Look at all of their hits. Now look at the artists.
yes,
But in between all of that, look at the DJs that were
right,
spinning that. Look
Yep.
at Little Louis Vega at the Devil's Nest. We're talking about 3,000 to 4,000 people. Now, for the younger audience out here, you can just get music at the touch of your fingertips.
hmm
But back then, the New York story was, hey, you know what? We got to go to the Devil's Nest. We want to hear what's going on. We want to
yes,
hear that song from Niobe. We want to hear that new song that Judy put out. We want to hear what George is doing.
hmm
Um, Imagine, and then you had it on the radio. It was all over the radio. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget about how freestyle music took over the radio, right? So during that time, when you say, why do I want to do it? There was a certain excitement for all people of all different races, and the diaspora of Latin music in the U.S., starting with Boogaloo all the way to now, should be really recognized and documented and understood. I mean, I would think of someone like a Madonna, who would always attribute a lot of credit to her talent to the Latino community from New York. And where do you think that was? That was in the Village. That was part of Freestyle. I mean, it's, when you start tying the history together with the truth and with Latin hip hop, it's incredible. It had a humongous impact on American music and American culture and pop culture. And I could go down the line. That's why I wanted to do it, because, these producers came together. I mean, they don't talk about how they were eating cookies in the studio and trying to find money, and, and how it was like trying to make,
Right.
tracks inside of the projects, or really trying to get these machines and saving up for these drum machines, and having some real serious raw talent and using their friends and saying, hey, let's make a track, let's make a hit record. And there were so many on the dance Billboard charts, so this is why it's such a testament to culture and to American music and the American genre of music to really document this. And that's why I'm so excited and passionate about it. And I'm really happy that the majority of the freestyle community has allowed me to be the chosen one. So I don't want them to be disappointed.
No, and I
No.
don't think that they
But George
will.
vetted me, let me tell you.
I don't think that they will. I got a Saturday morning call from George Lamond, and I'm like, it doesn't matter what I was doing. I stopped what I was doing to pick up his phone call.
I do the same thing.
And I'm like, yo, what's, he's telling me about the documentary, and I'm like, wow, I was excited. And the fact that you're including the people that are still doing it now, it's even greater, because we're in our like fifth generation of freestyle singer, and even though most of them are not on commercial radio, they are putting out good quality content. And again, they're all influenced by George Lamond. There isn't a male artist that tries to sing freestyle that either doesn't want to be the next George Lamond or the next TKA. That's just a given. So everyone aspires to be a solo male singer like George Lamond. You can.
And wait, I gotta say, Jose, I'm sorry, but also the women. Let's not forget the women.
That's right.
Let's
That's
not
right.
forget Expose. Look at what they did. With Louis Martinet. I mean,
Yes.
the amount of success. I mean, Louis Martinet being 1987 was Songwriter of the Year for
Yes.
Billboard magazine, and the hits that they had. The top five. I believe they had the top five hits on the dance charts. Let's not forget, Michael Jackson didn't do that. The Beatles didn't do that. Look at Clavillis and Cole. They crossed over to the Billboard charts. I mean,
Right.
Seduction. They were the cover
Well,
girls. Noel.
the cover girls were my supremes. They were
Yes.
my Latina supremes. So when the cover girls came out, when I first heard the remix demo that wasn't even out by Angel Clavillis, who was the lead singer of the cover girls. When I heard that thing in the Devil's Nest and that thing came on,
You,
I was
you
like,
don't understand. You don't understand the cassette tapes that I would tape over just to get the video and
yeah,
see the cover girls, and just like Angel Clavillas being this little beautiful house of fire, just unique in her look, and just watching all three of them together, do the videos. Like I would record Second Generation just to see if they will play the video,
yeah,
or
yeah,
I would be on BET or MTV or whatever, just trying to get that video, because all I want to do is rewind it, because we had to rewind the tape, and then so it'll be like a soap opera, wrestling, and then cover girls show me the video. That's the way it
Oh
was.
my God.
Operations.
But
yeah,
I gotta say, shout out to Second Generation, which was Tony Moran and Andy Panda's show. I mean, I was watching some of the things they had on Karina. She was such fire.
Yes.
yeah.
What an
She was.
artist.
Karina was no joke, man. I remember meeting her for the first time. I thought she was stunning, beautiful, talented, and she looked great. But when I spoke to her, she was very sultry and dark. And I got a little scared. I was intimidated. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, girl, go ahead. You take the stage. I'll stay back here and just watch. But it brought a different dynamic, and that was great. And then Coral came on,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
his
Coral.
silky voice, and then Noel with that European baritone that he had. I
That
mean,
bad boy with a cigarette in his mouth.
yeah, I mean, it
Leather
was just
jacket.
everyone had a niche and a gimmick, and then I came out with my dancers, and everybody thought it was a group, and then TKA, and I mean, I used to listen to TK music. Oh my God, I used to listen. I put it this way: when I first started listening to TK, I don't think I ever told K this. When I started listening to TK, AB was supposed to be the lead singer, and K was supposed to be the rapper
Right.
because they were rappers, and Tony was the background guy, right? I remember listening, and One Way Love was their first release, and AB was pretty much singing the whole song, right? And then little by little, I saw in when they were putting more records together, I saw this new voice emerging from the group, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like AB, and he had this like I don't know, it's like almost like a raspy Don Henley type of thing, and it was an effect that Joey Gardner used to use, that I've used on vocals as well. And all of a sudden, he just started doing, he started doing more songs, and they were doing back and forth. And I'm like, this is great. So I was waiting for Tony to come out, but Tony was always the background guy with the
Yeah.
deep voice or doing the background baritone, low harmonies, and. It was just amazing because that was a group that will go down in history as one of the best freestyle groups ever.
Yeah, and you don't understand some of the sacrifices that a lot of teens back then would make to go and see you guys perform. Myself, I remember you guys were scheduled to perform on a Friday. I missed everyone. My focus was to go see PKA, and I walked from my junior high school. I skipped the last class so I could walk to Six Flags, what is known as Six Flags now. It was Riverside Park back then, but I walked, and it's like very far if you walk. It's from Springfield to a city called Agawam,
And you got
and
some good legs.
it took me like 5 6 hours maybe to walk there.
How long?
5 or 6 hours to walk there. And then when
What
I
time did
got
you leave
there,
school? What
uh,
time did you leave school?
before the school ended, before the
Oh
end of the
my
day, 3 o'clock.
goodness.
The show started like at 7, so I just thought it was just a long walk just for me to get to that concert. And when I got there, it had started already, and then TKA was going on, which is what I wanted to go there for.
Perfect, perfect.
But people will make
And
these
that's the thing.
sacrifices to these shows because they were such fans. Because you guys were the epitome of what we thought as a community we needed to reach to
Absolutely.
success.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I would do that. And right now I have the TKA championship in the back here, but it comes to fruition all these years later, right? That I became a fan of George Lamond, TKA, and all these different groups, and now I get to speak to them because I put in the work, on the radio. I learned the history. I try to pay homage to it every day, every week, for 6 hours a week. Um,
Absolutely.
and so, to think all those years before when I sacrificed at 15, 16 years old to skip school to get to this concert, and now I get to talk to you. To me, that's a great honor for me to have you on the show and talk to you, and to have people like TKA be my friends and send me a championship title. Um, but the community needs to understand the love that freestyle has gotten over the years, and respect the history, which is something that I do every day. And this documentary to me is going to be the what is needed for people to become educated and be as passionate as I am about this music.
I wanna throw something in, and then I'm gonna give it to Maria. So when me and Maria spoke, and she was like, "I want you to help me with this project. In some way, I want you to be a part of it." I remember the first thing I told Maria. I don't know if you remember, Maria. I was like, "It has to be told from the beginning. Like, it really, the timeline is very important to me." I told her. I said, so she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "We really need to try to get it. It's so distorted with so much information."
Yes,
We were kids. We were
yes,
kids. We weren't paying attention to documenting when it started.
yes.
We were doing something that we love. We wanted to be rock stars. And I told her it has to be documented with the right people. And in freestyle, my freestyle, when I started like in '85, just demoing, in '84, demoing all that stuff. there was never no hate. There was never no noise. It was all love. We all knew each other because I'm from the Bronx and he's from Queens and she's from Spanish Harlem and from El Barrio. You know what I'm saying? So it was like there was never no beef. Unfortunately, today there's a lot of noise. And one of the things Maria is getting done on this film is, I told her, I said, just be prepared. You might need a therapist after this documentary.
I'm
So,
available.
but Maria as a director, I'm going to give it to her after this. She's been facing a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, she's coming out with it like, look, man, we gotta tell the story, and we're gonna try to get as much people as we can in this film because the film is not about George Lamond, right? The film is not about any particular person. It's about the legacy, right? It's about the music. It's not about who we are. I mean, it is about who everyone is, but it's not just about the act. That could be another film. This is about the history and the legacy of Latin hip hop freestyle. And I'm gonna give it over to Maria.
So Maria, what kind of
Thank you,
poop?
George.
What kind of poop are you getting into with this documentary?
No, I don't think we should talk about
Well,
it.
this is the thing, right? So first of all, every music industry, and in the music industry, I'm in the film industry and I'm in entertainment as well, but I'm on a different side. And the thing is, I can't think of one music genre where there hasn't been any problems or any issues. It is life. I live in this world. I didn't make the world. But I'm not focusing on that because it doesn't matter whether you're in freestyle, you're in R&B, you're in gospel music, you're in soul, you're in neo soul, you're in whatever it may be, rock. There's always going to be controversy, but that's not what this is about. This is about a group of people who were friends that were passionate and wanted to make music. They were coming out of a disco era because Boogaloo was there way before freestyle. And somehow or another, that legacy sort of disappeared, right? And then you have the disco era, then boom, disco, right? I remember like in the 80s, I would, go to New York as like a kid and I would say disco is dead. And I'm like, well, it's never dead, but. And then you have this legacy of freestyle. Of course, if we're coming from the streets and we're making music or we're making films or we're dancers or we're artists, there's always going to be some struggle. But what the beautiful story is it's of where people came from. Whether you're from Miami and you were trying to get a group together and then you got to Columbia Records or you maybe Sony or Polygram. Not everyone had that opportunity, but there was a struggle and a reason why many artists only made a few tracks. Like when you think of Suave, he had everything in terms of a formula to be a star. Karina, the same thing. Like you look at all of these amazing artists. Look at Sweet Sensation. They are so dynamic. Like these artists are tremendous, and the producers that gave up everything, they have a story. So the story is about who they are as people, where they come from. It's about the culture. And it's really heavily based on Latino culture. And there was a reason why Italian culture has also like
Yeah.
really embraced this genre and why people in Brazil love Stevie B and why worldwide, like Lisette Melendez was a star, not only in the US, but in Japan. Let's not forget
Yes.
all of these things.
Never.
Look at what Sapphire did. She broke
Sapphire was
down
big. Sapphire
doors.
was on the cover
Oh
of
my
Vogue. She
gosh.
was on the cover of Vogue magazine. It's like I don't know any other freestyle artist that ever did that to grace the cover. I don't know if she would grace the cover. She was in Vogue magazine, but I know that when I spoke to her and
Spin. She did
oh, I'm
Spin magazine.
Spin Mag. I'm sorry. And then I believe she was always in Vogue, but the thing is, I think one of my challenges as a film as a field producer, sorry, is I wanted to get everybody, and I think Latin hip hop or freestyle. I'm just gonna call it Latin hip hop. You guys, it's freestyle, but I'm gonna call it Latin hip. Latin hip
Oh,
hop became so big, right? It became so big that I told Maria, we gotta get the West Coast. We gotta get Canada. We gotta get like Brazil. And it was too big. And Maria has like what, less than 2 hours to try to tell the story.
right.
So it became too big, and I got in contact with everyone that I know because I have a pretty good reach of all these people, and and I did, and we did that, but it was just getting to the point where I think it was just becoming too big, and she only has so much. So maybe there'll be a part two. I don't know. So
Well, there could be.
yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely speak to that. I decided to, I'm doing this film for the culture. So no one is telling me what to put in. No one is telling me how to make it. Nobody's telling me who to interview. My goal is to
Sounds like that radio
capture
show.
everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, like your radio show, right? Like no one's telling you who to interview and what they should say and what, we're doing this independently, but this is a high-end independent film.
Oh yeah.
I want to make sure that we cover everyone. I want to get their story. I'm not worried about whether, as a filmmaker, I can shape and I can really tell the story the way it needs to be told. When you look at Ken Burns documentaries, they have like sometimes 6 part. If that's what this takes, then that's what it's going to be. And when you start really documenting freestyle, like I mean, how you because you're going through this, Jose. You meet the people; they are real people. They are beautiful people. They are family people.
Yes.
They are talented. They love their fans. They're committed to their work. I mean, I could tell you, and I can even say for George, these artists really don't have a lot of time for themselves. They make large sacrifices in their lives to travel, to do shows, to be there for their fans. Do they love it? Of course, but they will do whatever it takes to get to Florida, to get to California, to get to New York. And documenting this has been really wonderful because now we have a solid foundation of truth. Is there controversy? Well, does it matter? Isn't it understood? Like if I did a documentary on dancers, aren't because I was a former professional dancer, I would probably have like a ton of injuries to talk about.
Yes.
But are we going to focus on that, or are we going to focus on the culture and what the passion was and what their hopes and dreams were and how they translated it into hits and fans and charts and creating memories for many different people that aren't artists that say, wow, I remember that song Without You, George, had like hit me at a certain time, in my life when I just broke up with someone, or, one of Judy Torres' songs. And,
Mhm.
look at what she did she did an off Broadway play, You Don't Have to Cry. Look at Cynthia. Cynthia is still like performing. I mean, every time I look at Cynthia, I'm just like, she just keeps getting more and
She's
more
what I call her
beautiful.
one the Wonder.
It's just,
I call her the Wonder
wow.
Woman of freestyle. She's never
Yeah.
tired. She keeps going.
And she's ageless.
And
I'm like, what is she, 21 now? Like,
yes,
Yeah,
they all
exactly.
are.
Yeah.
I interviewed Brenda K. Starr yesterday. What an honor. I mean, think about it. She started in Beach Street, and then she went to Arthur Baker Studios, and she had just such a wonderful career. And now look at her. She's like a salsera. She explodes. George had a salsa career that exploded, on Sony Discos. I mean, like, you got to
yeah,
look at their career. Look at Mark Anthony, what he did. He used to write songs for freestyle, and now he's
yes.
like, it's iconic. It's major. It's amazing. And I've interviewed AB, and there's still so many more that I have to interview. We are not done, but the way they have all worked together, there's an interconnection of working together. We see artists like collaborate nowadays. Freestyle artists have been doing that for over 30 years, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's time to talk about it.
even George Lamond has helped other parts of the freestyle generation to be
Oh
to
yeah,
be in the forefront. George Anthony, he did a collaboration with him a couple years back. Who can say too? Going back to the people that you spoke on, Brenda K. Starr discovered Mariah Carey.
that's
Sapphire.
right.
Who can say that Michael Jackson covered their song? Michael Jackson covered a Sapphire song. Actually, probably
That's right.
one of his last songs, if not his last song. So the community, the Latin hip hop community, freestyle, it has been influential all along, and it still continues to be. Is that the the mainstream has capitalized on it, right? And the people that actually put it forward, um, they capitalized it to some extent, but they have to really have that resurgence to get that opportunity to bring it to the forefront as they seen it, as they brought the baby up. They should be able to reap the benefits. Is what I'm saying.
I would like to ask. I would like to ask Jose a question.
Yes.
As a fan, I'm going to ask you this one question. I know you're supposed to be interviewing us.
Yes.
What if you were going to watch a freestyle documentary, what is it that you're looking to watch? What is it that you want to see?
I'm looking for history. I'm looking for factual information. And I'm also, I'm a reunion type of guy. You hear like throughout the years, like these groups don't get along. So I would like to see like a regrouping of certain artists that don't speak to each other. But for me, it's about the history. For me, it's about giving the community factual information. And as a fan, because I was a fan first, um, is to show people why so many people are dedicated to this music, why people wake up every day and they don't want to listen to mainstream music.
Nothing else. They just want to see it.
They want to listen to freestyle music, which is what I do. I don't listen to anything other than freestyle. Of course, I listen to other types of music, but
Right.
my love, my heart is within freestyle since I was 16 years old. And don't sing "Where Does That Leave Love" in front of me because I'll start crying like a little baby.
Let me note that.
Yeah, he did that. He did that back. We got the opportunity to see him live, and I was backstage, and he did "What Does That Leave Love," and I'm just standing there like.
Real quick story. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
No, we have as much time as we need. We have, but I want my what I'm scared of for the Latin hip hop freestyle community is that people are trying to rewrite history. Like a lot of the times when I'm on social media, and even though it's the IFC, the Internet Freestyle Community, they try to rewrite stuff that's not factual, right? And then you go there and you correct them, but they're like, nah, that's still, this is what I heard, So I want the pioneers and I want the people that were there to actually tell their story. Everybody can try to tell their freestyle story, right? But no one can tell the freestyle story but the artist. Nobody can tell me the history of the Cover Girls but the Cover Girls. Nobody can tell me the history of TKA but TKA. Nobody can tell me the history of George Lamond but George Lamond. So I want to hear it from them. I don't want to hear it from what somebody heard fourth, fifth person,
And this is why when Maria came to me, it was perfect timing. Look, we're not getting any younger, okay? I'm pushing 55. I'm coming up soon, and I'm still here and I'm blessed. And to do what I love every day, people are dropping, man. We need to document this while we're still looking halfway decent, and and the fans are still coming out. And I want my kids to see something when I leave this planet. I want to leave a freestyle legacy. So and I couldn't choose anyone better than Maria. Maria is no joke. Maria is doing her homework. She's God knows that she ran out of Tylenol already, so I don't know what she's taking. But with all the homework that she has to do, it's a heavy weight on her shoulder, and I'm gonna make sure that she does that shit right. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but I'm gonna make sure that shit is on point. And
she actually has my dream job right now because I've always wanted to do a freestyle documentary. This is why I choose to do these types of interviews.
Right.
Because again, I want to, if something happens to me, I want to make sure that I get it from the person and that is on YouTube and is there forever. And if anybody comes across, hey,
absolutely,
they interviewed George Lamond, they interviewed Maria Soccor, and this is a factual information,
Absolutely, and and I know she's gonna do because she's a badass. Certain people just want her to do certain things, and she's like, this is my film, and this is the way it's gonna be released. She has a vision for it, so you can take it from here, Maria.
Thanks, George. The whole idea is they always say like a film is a director's medium. But I really look at it. I approach these ensemble cast roles in a different light. I like to say it's our film. It's like, we all collaborate, we all give, and if we can do that, then it makes my job a lot easier. And it starts with, again, I just wanted to give them the top quality of film. I remember when George came into the shoot, he's like, "Whoa," and I was like, "Not bad for an iPhone shoot, huh?" But we're not.
Yeah. I got a little tip, a little tea from the film. I'm not gonna say which producer it was. The guy's a legend, and he goes over to little Louis Vega and he tells him, "Yo, man, they really know what they're doing here." And Louis like, "You think?" Yeah, man, that's like heavy duty like equipment right there. They're doing this ish right. And when Louis told me that, he said, I was like, "What?" I was like, Maria, guess what?
I was
So
like,
yeah, yeah,
and you know,
she's pulling her stock. She's reaching. It's she's taken all the precautions. She's even taken all the COVID precautions. She has a whole crew. Everybody has a mask. They never take it off. If anything, the artists take it off, but the crew never takes it off. We have lunch breaks, assistance up the wazoo, and some of the locations are just beautiful. And Jose, when you see some of these shots, you're gonna be like, you're gonna pass out. It's beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
I
thank
can't
you.
wait for it, and I can't wait for it to stream. I know that you're still working on it. I want the Blu-ray version. I want. I just need a hard copy. But I'm truly proud to have you as my guest. Is there anything else that you want to share in regards to the documentary or news in regards to you? Are you going to be acting again?
Me or Maria?
Yeah. Oh.
Maria, of
Yeah,
course.
because I was gonna say I'm not an actor. I know what you're talking about now.
So I'll tell you a little secret why I keep this level of production for them, and that's because they deserve the best. They really do, 100%. I will tell you, I do music videos, but I have wrote for music videos. I have pitched music videos, and as a filmmaker, I write, I direct. I'm a storyteller. I know how I want things to look, and I know what the value should be and what they deserve. I do branded content. What's important to me about this production? I mean, we have an Emmy award-winning DP, Sergey Franklin.
Yep,
I also
he's
I
awesome.
have. It's very important to me that I have a diversified crew. When you see our crew, you see other like our B camera operators are actually DPs.
Right.
They're women. Our ACs are women. We have. I also believe in like watching younger Latinos come up in the media
Mhm.
form, and I just, I know there's technology is a beautiful thing, but there's so much run and gun. Hey, let's shoot that it's not a film that I just want to do things that are cinematic. And so when I see music videos, sometimes like I do write for them, but I will not film them if they're not of the level. I just won't. So for this particular project, what's so um, why I'm so passionate about it is because we are using really great equipment. We're shooting on Red Geminis. I picked that camera with my DP for a reason. We give it such a beautiful mood. We're telling like the story where my lighting is very specific, where we kind of touch on the 80s and 90s and the lighting, but we're still current and modern. I use really beautiful architectural spaces because when I want someone to take this and like, we have a younger group of freestyle artists like, Jay Allums, Julio Mena, Jenny Renee, George Anthony, that revere the legend so much that they want to take it to the next level. I hope 100 years down the line, someone will look at this documentary and take pieces of it and look at it for the art that it is. And it is, I want to say this is the high level art of a film I want to make. And for every filmmaker, when they say that, it's not like just a job where you're commissioned to do something. You're in full control of the creativity and content. And they really do deserve it. So when you see the lighting there, it's going to be different. You're going to see the drama. You're going to see the intensity of it. You're going to feel like you're in New York. Like I'll give you an example, George. When we shot him in Jersey City at the Lowe's Theater, I looked at certain staircases and I was like, wow, this is really representative of those pre-World War One, pre-World War II buildings with these beautiful Victorian staircases. And you shine that light through, and so you get a glimpse of the Bronx. You get a glimpse of what it was like to live in those buildings with those stairs that were sort of like got that
Mhm.
little line in the middle and the lighting, and then he's dressed modern, and you really feel it all. So you feel that 80s 90s, but you still have that feel of what's current. And what does that do? That just enhances their story. And I am touching on some narrative as well in the film. So I'm really big on reenactment. I know that using a lot of stock footage is great, but my goal is to also really recreate some of those moments where you're in the Bronx and you hear that softy truck and you hear the salsa music in the background and you hear that domino getting slapped down. And
Uh-huh.
it's really important that I do that. And so this is a really big project for me that we're creating, and we want to make it really just as authentic as possible. So I just want to say I love the freestyle community. They've all become my friends, and a lot of them have become family. And I got to tell you, like, it's really been an honor to shoot them. My wish would be that we all get together and just say, hey, like, you know, you want to do your own project, that's great, but really contribute to this project because you're contributing to the culture. You know, my goal, you know, you said, oh, I want it on YouTube. My goal is to get it on a platform where everyone can see it. This is not just a film for the fans. This is a film for the world. The fans will appreciate it, but if you're living in Denmark, right, or if you're in Switzerland, or if you're in, like, you know, if you're in anywhere in the world, if you're in Morocco, if you're in Ethiopia and you see this, you're going to fall in love with these artists because they have so much heart, and they encompass that, like, Latino family. And like every family, there's always problems, right? But that's not what it's about. It's about how everyone got together and made something out of nothing and made these hits. And still, like 30 years later, you know,
Still living up.
yeah, they should be recognized in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They are veterans. They're performing, you know, the Grammys. Like, I think of all of these reasons, like, the genre of music should be, you know, really documented and get rid of all of that, those systemic issues that maybe held it back, you know, in the 80s and 90s, and propelled it forward.
Well,
So
I want to thank you for being part of the show, but here's the most important
thank you.
question, right? That we haven't
Yes.
asked yet. What is the title of the documentary?
The title of the documentary is Freestyle Music, The Legacy.
Nice. So, Maria, I want to thank you for joining us here on CPR
Thank you.
Clubhouse Live.
Thank
And
you.
it's an honor to meet you. I can't wait to watch all your work now because now I have homework to do, right?
Yes, you do.
Oh, it's
Yes,
an
you
honor
do.
to meet you too. Oh, and you asked me what I was doing, right? What else I was doing.
Yes.
So through this documentary, you know, and through George and everyone, and it's just been so great. I'm working with the artists on several projects, and I just worked with Robert Clavillis, which was excellent. You know, I actually worked with him on a project to promote his new song, LDM, Latinos del
The
Mundo.
Latinos del Mundo, yeah.
Oh man, it's what an amazing song. Talk about another anthem. And I did a small documentary, a short document, not a small, but I did the short documentary, directed the short documentary on that with him, and it's been wonderful working with him. And I'm also doing a play right now called The Mannequin Diaries, and it's directed by Trezana Beverly, who's a Tony Award winner, and Brian Wiggins is the writer, who's just such a visionary. And I'm slated to do another television show coming up, so I'll tell you about that in front of the camera. But again, I love being behind the camera and in front. And with this is my baby, Freestyle Music, The Legacy.
Well,
So
thank you so much for
thank you.
honoring our music and respecting the history of it and wanting to tell that story. I've never met someone that is as passionate as me, right? And now I do. So, you know, hopefully we'll get to speaking more, in the future, and we'll get to promote this when it's ready to be released.
Sure, and thank you for having the show. I'm a fan of your show and everything that you do for freestyle culture. I mean, it's outstanding. We're going to keep it moving, right? I want to be that person with you, Jose, that is going to, you know, document freestyle to the end of our lives, and photography and film and music and shows, podcasts, whatever it takes to keep this
Yes.
going. So I'm dedicated to it. So thank you for doing this. And thank you, George, for believing in me.
Yeah. This is so now everyone can put a face to the name because everyone here, who's Maria? Who's Maria? That's her, wherever she is on one of these sides. That's her. So yeah, you go.
Thank you.
You're a rock star, girl. Don't worry, we got this.
Oh,
Once again,
I'm
Maria,
just
thank
a
you so much.
worker.
We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, you guys take care. Bye.
Well, George Lamond, what a great documentary this is going to be. I can't wait. When you called me to tell me that it was happening, I was like, man, and I started talking to you for like an hour, and you're like, okay, I gotta go. And I'm like, I talk to this person,
Yeah.
and talk to this person, and you're like, I hear a Z's, I'm like,
Yeah, no.
there.
I'm sorry. You know, like I said, man, you know, it's big. Latin hip hop is big, man. You know, dance house. What do you call it over there? What do you guys call it again?
We call it Clubhouse dance music. It's a title that was given to us by an owner of a record shop.
What was his name again?
The owner of the record shop, his name was Joe Guz, and Jesus de Juice Vasquez, the founder of Freestyle in New England, Connecticut, Massachusetts. He went in there and said, "Hey, I'm coming out with a show, and I don't know a title." And the guy's like, so what is it about? It's about music that you listen to in a club and you can listen to at your house while you're cleaning. I said, well, there you go, Clubhouse dance music.
Clubhouse
But now
dance
people are
music.
like, oh, can I listen to some Clubhouse? I said, it's freestyle, but sure, whatever you
Same
want.
thing, yeah. So Clubhouse, it's big, man, and when we were talking, everyone has their story, man. Stevie B, Trinier, Debbie Deb, Coro,
Yes.
everyone has their story, and it was so big. It just gets bigger, bigger, and bigger because it's like a fungi. It was just growing everywhere once it connected to the soil, and everyone has their story. But at the end of the day, it all boils to one little thing, and that was Latin hip hop because that was the spark. The spark was, what do they call the cube? The all spark.
You
That
also, yes,
was the all spark
yes.
was Latin hip hop, and all these little cubes coming out, high energy, Clubhouse,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So
So if there was a Thanos, you could wear the whole glove yourself.
hell yeah, man! I'm not Thanos. We're not even gonna get into that right now. Don't start no shit, bro.
So let me ask you before I let you go. You have a new project coming out, and you mentioned Joey Gardner, and
Yeah,
then this has to do with Joey Gardner and yourself getting together. Can you
yeah,
talk a little
yeah.
bit about your new song?
Absolutely. Yeah. So October 1st is the release of I Believe in Love by Fly Groove featuring George Lamond. Now, Fly Groove is a new production team with several cats that Joey Gardner, the producer of TKA, and Cynthia, and myself, and many other acts, finally decided to follow his passion again. Now, Joey Gardner, once he left the music business years ago, he decided to, give it a rest and follow another passion that he had. And he was working for CNN at the time, making amazing money. And, he did what he did, but there was a void. And I remember seeing Anderson Cooper literally, giving an homage to him live on CNN, which is on
Nice.
Facebook. You can find it somewhere. And he's following his passion. And then, I didn't know I was going to be involved in it. Me and Joey Gardner he's one of my really, really close friends. We have the same birthday. So we call each other the same day and we wish each other birthday. And he calls me out of nowhere and he goes, I got this song I want you to do. And when Joey tells me he wants me to do, I'm going to listen to it, right? So I said, okay. So he plays me this song, and I was like, just like everything else, I questioned it. And I'm like, I don't know, but I trust his judgment. And he says, believe me, it's going to work. And we did the song. It was a cover tune of Paula Cole, right? That was released in
Yes.
1999. And a totally different song. I'm like, I don't hear it. I don't hear it, bro. And man, he put the spin on it. This track that I got, you're gonna hear it. I know my fans. We're not gonna let you guys down. You're gonna be very proud of Uncle George on this one. This one's a good, blessed by Fly Groove and Joey Gardner and his crew. And we're also releasing a full length video. And this
Wow.
video, Joey Gardner directed it. He financed it. He even learned how to use the software because he didn't like the editor that he had hired. So he says, you know what? I'm going to take about 3 weeks off. I'm going to learn the software. I took a class, learned it, and now he edited the whole thing. And we have some actors in there that you guys seen on TV that's going to be doing a cameo in this video. So I'm so excited. It's called I Believe in Love, Flag Groove. Actually, this is my first interview talking about it. So, we got it right here on CPR Clubhouse, man. So once I get it, man, you got to rock it.
Send it over. Yeah, send
You
it
got to
over.
rock it.
I would like to have you and Joey Gardner next on this show.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull teeth, man, because he doesn't like being on
know,
camera.
Yeah.
But I told him already, and I told him I was gonna talk about it, and he says, yeah, they had to release a date. He has another artist that he's working. It's just not just myself. So I'm gonna be the first release of Fly Groove, and then he has another artist called Keenan, and this kid is nasty. This kid sounds like Drake singing freestyle.
Right.
It's just the combination is sick. It's really, really nice new sound.
If it has Joey Gardner's name, I'm sold. You don't have to say
there you go. There you go.
You
there
said
you
Joey
go.
Gardner. Okay, I'm done. You know,
I'm not, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm really happy. I'm gonna put a link to your website, georgelamond.net.
Yes.
Because I want to make sure people are up to date with all your shows too, because you're
Yes.
active. You've been following all the protocols, but you've been out there, performing. I see you in your performances. You're still the man. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Yeah, if you could do the Instagram better, only because I'm actually redoing the website. I just spoke to someone literally yesterday who's going to redo the whole website. So if you could do after the real George Lamond on Instagram.
Sure.
I usually connect it to Facebook. That's the best way to find out my schedule.
Just look at the links. It'll be George Lamond
exactly.
Instagram. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Absolutely.
But George, thank you so much for being part of this. I really appreciate it. And until next time.
Thank you so much. I had a really good time, man. You guys keep doing your thing, ladies. Jose. Nos vemos.
Once again, at CPR's Clubhouse Live, that was George Lamond. Unbelievable George Lamond as part of CPR's Clubhouse Live. Of course, we got the TKA title since I'm, the executive producer. And, I love to share my stories as well. But the fact that I skipped school to go see them live at Six Flags or Riverside Park, and now I got to be the executive producer of their last song, Slipping Through My Hands, that's a great honor for me. But I want to thank Maria Soccor and George Lamond for being here. And until next time, it's CPR saying goodbye. And remember, it's not who you love, it's how.